Are you ready to learn what it's actually like to really go to Disney alone? Find out more on this week's episode of the Theme Park Hipster Show. Hey, Theme Park Hipsters! It's your host, Nikki J, the owner of ThemeParkHipster.com, where I help you plan the best solo theme park vacation with the latest tips, reviews, personal stories, and more. Today, guys, we have another incredible interview with my girl, Shringalah, over on Instagram at Midwest and Disney Obsessed page. She is back once again to give us her official solo Disney trip report. And if this is your first time to the Theme Park Hipster podcast, then you'll want to go back to episode 49, where she goes over some of her fears and anxieties about her first solo trip. So without further ado, let's get into this little solo Disney chat. All right. Thank you so much for returning to the show. You are post Disney fever. How are you settling back into normal life?
I want to go back so badly. Every day I'm like, when's my next trip? When's my next trip? That after, I think someone called it like the Disney flu is so real. Just trying to get back into your routine and not being up so early for Disney every day. But I'm back and I'm settled and I'm ready for my next trip.
Wow. So how was your first solo trip overall? How was the overall experience?
Overall, really fun. I had a great birthday. I got to experience everything that I wanted to do and a little bit more. So that was really the best part. I didn't have anyone's schedule to follow. It was my own. And even just learning to go with the flow a little bit sometimes was fun.
That was really good. That's a really good way to treat yourself for your birthday. And I'm so jealous because I don't think I did that on my birthday around that time, but that's pretty cool. Now that things are settled and you can kind of reflect back to your mind state before you got to the trip, which you guys can listen to on episode 49. You can hear all the things she was thinking about, all the things she was concerned about. So now that you are back and you went through it, what do you think you were most afraid of before you left for your solo Disney trip?
Most definitely, it was actually being alone in like crowded parks. However, Disney is essentially the safest place to be. But just being alone and just like experience, not being able to share that experience with someone else. However, I made memories myself. So that was really fun.
Well, what were you the most surprised about while you were on your trip?
Honestly, how easy it is for me to talk and make friends. I made a lot of cast member friends and we now follow each other on Instagram. Literally the first time I got there, I was hungry. I was like, okay, let's go to Disney Springs. I ended up running into a place called the Outpost that I thought was food, but it wasn't. And I met a guy and this girl, and he's vegan, and we ended up talking. And so we still even talk to this day, and they're both APs. So anytime I go back down, I'll get to like hang out with them.
Now, what a coincidence that is for you to say, okay, I'm hungry on my first night, I'm going to Disney Springs, and then you meet someone who's also vegan and you guys start talking. Mm-hmm. Like, how does that happen? That's crazy.
So I just heard them talking. She was kind of like looking at the purses, and I was like, if you don't get that Dole Whip purse, like you have to. And she's like, I know, right? And I was like, hey, I know you guys, like, have you guys, do you know any like vegan or I said vegetarian because most people don't know what vegan is. And do you guys know any vegetarian spots to eat at around the area? This is my first time at Disney Springs. And he started going off on like a few places I could go. And he's like, and then you could go to Blaze, which is vegan. And some other place, it was like a little cart area that had like a vegan hot dog or a sausage or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, actually I'm vegan. He was like, oh, so am I. I was like, and so, vegans, once we meet each other again, we just start going off and talking, how long have you been vegan? And so that was really fun.
That is so cool. You can't make this up. I mean, that's so magical for you on your Disney trip. With that happening on your first night and you're still kind of thinking about the whole trip, what do you think surprised you the most about the solo trip? I know you said that you being able to talk to people, more people than you thought you would be able to. What else surprised you about your trip?
How much I can fit in one day. Honestly.
Please give us the secret. How did your days go at Disney? Because that is hard to do.
So I basically woke up. I had extra magic hours staying on resort. So let's take Monday. Monday was my Animal Kingdom day. I woke up and I got to the park about 7:40. I was able to book it for like flight of passage. So that's the first thing I did. Then I had like hours in between each fast pass. Or no, my Navi River was right after, but the most of my other fast passes were like hours in between. So I literally did everything. I ended up actually going back and changing clothes, hanging out with you. And then that was really fun. And then we made it to Magic Kingdom, barely in enough time, but just a little bit of time to catch Happily Ever After. So I fit in pretty much everything you could do at Animal Kingdom that day. Food for the most part, like I think I did Everest probably like 3 times. That was so much fun. So it surprised me how early I can get up for Disney because I'm not a morning person, and just trying to fit everything in on one day.
You were able to go to all the other parks throughout the rest of your days. How did you have like a set plan before you went? Like on this day I'm doing this, on this day I'm doing that, and did you stick to it, or how did it go for you?
So for certain sit-down food reservations, I definitely had, so like my Magic Kingdom day, Crystal Palace, that was like my very first thing I planned that morning because, of course, I love Pooh, so I have to meet Pooh and friends. So I did beforehand have a set schedule, and it was kind of like a park per day I was there. However, I feel like I ended each day with Magic Kingdom, except for my very first night. So I ended pretty much every day with Magic Kingdom, and I was content with that. I loved it. To see those fireworks or to go ride Space Mountain.
So you said that you ended every night at the Magic Kingdom. As a first timer going to Walt Disney World, how was that magic feeling? I mean, because for people who go a lot, we don't get that first time feeling anymore. We can try to get the magic, but you got that first time feeling. How was it to be like, oh my God, I'm actually in front of Cinderella's castle. Oh my God, I'm at Spaceship Earth. That's the golf ball. Like, how was that feeling for you?
So I think my most Epcot was fun. It was really fun. I don't think I felt that excitement as much for Epcot as I did when on my Epcot day, which was my actual birthday, I ended up going to Magic Kingdom towards the end of the day. And when I was on Main Street, I finally got in and I saw the castle and I was just like, oh, it's here. It's in person. And I just felt the magic and all the scents and the smells. And I was just, recording that memory. I was in heaven. And then when I first saw the Tree of Life in Animal Kingdom,
yeah,
so much fun. So it's just, first of all, the Imagineers and the level of detail in each. I appreciate architecture and art that was put into it. So that in itself, and just the magical feels of everything. And I watch these YouTubers and I see them going, and I see my friends going all the time because they are more local. But it was just really nice to finally be there.
That is so amazing to hear. And just having to see your experience through your Instagram, to see all your first memories, that was so good to watch. And it was not only a trip of first time at Disney, it was a first time solo trip like that by yourself. And you chose Disney to do it on your special day. So that's pretty cool. I think one of the things I always am curious about is when you first got to your hotel room and that was the night you went and had your dinner at Disney Springs and you came back. How was it to be in a hotel room by yourself? Like, okay, well, did it kind of kick in that you were on a solo trip? When did that kind of kick in that, oh my God, I'm really solo? Was it on the plane? Was it in the hotel room, kind of just sitting there by yourself? How was that?
So the hotel was actually fine because, like I said, I made the most of my day. So I was hardly in the hotel room. I think I came back really for changing and to sleep. So again, it's just being alone in the parks. The parks are quite crowded. So my number one tip, honestly, is to take a break if you can. I know that's
a great tip. And you came there when it was still hot, like super hot.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely take a break. Now, I remember before you left, you were talking about packing and all these things that you were going to take with you. Did you feel like you packed okay? Or did you feel like, man, I didn't need this much? How was that for you?
Okay. So the Magical Express actually drops off your suitcase, but it didn't drop it off right away. So by the time I came back from eating, I was like unpacking, hanging things up that like needed to not be as wrinkled. And I was like, wow, I think I packed way too much stuff. I'm not going to use all this. However, like you said, August in Florida, and I'm not used to humidity heat.
Mm-hmm.
I think I packed just enough. Maybe a few extra that I really didn't need, but I think I packed just enough because I was able to do outfit changes midday. So I pretty much had like 2 outfits every day of my trip.
No. That is a perfect tip because if you are coming to Florida in that sweltering heat and you're going to do those kind of long days at the park, you have to take a break. And when you go back to your hotel room, you get rested. You're not going to want to put that outfit on from earlier in the morning back.
No.
So that's a good tip. Thank you for that one. I will have to use that one. Now that you are back and settled, like we said before, what do you think are some of the pros and cons of traveling to Disney by yourself?
Yeah, some of the pros are definitely you get to make your own schedule, your bathroom break when you want to. You can eat where you want to, ride the rides without, someone who might not like, teacups. Like, I don't like the teacups, but I am down for Splash Mountain and, anything that drops. Like, but if I was with someone that preferred teacups over like a drop, then, you kind of have to compromise, or you're riding that ride by yourself. And I mean, that's fine. But when you come with someone, you kind of want to ride with them, as well as food. I specifically am vegan. So like looking at places Disney is pretty accommodating for the most part when it comes to like alternative diets. However, what gives you the most options that you both can eat at. There's just different things I definitely would take into consideration when it comes to traveling alone with or with somebody. So one of the cons, however, is it is memories by yourself.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, oh, remember when we did this at Disney? And no, it's just me. Actually, everyone else who live vicariously through my Instagram actually can recall my memories. So that was the point of just kind of like recording and talking to people. But I can't say like, I did get a few pictures with people, but, or even when you're trying to take pictures, asking strangers, it's very awkward, or they don't take a good picture.
You don't know how to say, can I get another one? That is pretty awkward.
Because I'm so thankful that they even stopped to take the picture. I'm just like, okay, thank you. Oh, next.
It's like you're staking out that perfect person that walks by like, hey, can I get you to take my picture?
But the cast members, what? They got you. Just give them your camera. They'll just start. Most of them know how to use the camera and they will start shooting away. So those are the main ones, I think. Actually,
that's
just
cool.
Being on your own time, on your own schedule, is really like, to me, that was important, especially it being my birthday. I was just like, I'm going to go with the flow or make my own schedule. So.
Yeah. And you made friends. So even though there were more moments of you having those memories, so you didn't have anyone to share it with, you met people that you had known online. You got to see them in person and make new memories. We had so
much fun. We did.
Yes. The lounge in Animal Kingdom, the Nomad Lounge. Yes, guys. If you
Nomad Lounge. Now I'm definitely going to have to go back.
If you are an adult who wants some good drinks and food and chill, nice vibe right outside of Pandora, this is the place you have to be. And we were there for a couple of hours. Sorry, we took away some time from your Disney trip. You're having happy.
No, that was perfectly a part of it. That was perfectly part of it. I knew one of the days I was going to meet up with you, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to carve out that time." No, that was perfect, and it was a good time to not be in the heat as much. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was perfect. I also really loved meeting Tabitha and Irv, Main Street Dad, and Tabitha Powell on Instagram. So that was also really fun to meet. I met a lot of just Disney people. It was really fun. That's my favorite part of the parks, is when I get to meet up with people that I've, connected with online, and, we just share our love for Disney.
Oh, that's so cool. So overall, do you recommend people going to Disney alone, or at least try to do a solo Disney trip once?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think Disney alone is so much fun. Like I said, you get to make your own schedule. And I think everyone should try it at least once, even if you are more of I go with my family Disney person. But your love of Disney shines through regardless. And people, for the most part, are very friendly. So if you are way too talkative like me, I suggest just talk to somebody. And even the cast members are super sweet. So
they definitely are. Do you have any more tips that you could give someone who's kind of on the fence of making that trip? Because they're like, I don't know how that even goes together. What are some tips that you learned about yourself on the trip that you can help someone else with?
My tips were just pace myself. I was like an overly excited child. So I wanted to do everything. And I am not a child. I need a break. I sometimes need a nap, and I did not take that. So I definitely suggest, taking that breather, maybe going to the pool at your hotel. Because I brought a swimsuit and never used it. Make sure you find places to cool down, keep hydrated, a lot of things like that. But if you are afraid to go alone, ask yourself why. Kind of work through that. And if it's something you really want to do and your love of Disney will shine through regardless, you'll do it. Like I said in the previous episode, it's really kind of hard to get people together for a trip. And if it's something you really want to do, I say go for it.
Well, thank you so much. That is the perfect way to end this solo Disney trip report. Now, where can someone find you if they want to connect with you or ask you any more questions about your trip?
Yes, my Instagram is Midwest in the letter Disney Obsess. That's where you can message me. I answer everyone's DM, so feel free to ask me any questions. I'm pretty outgoing, and my stories are funny, I've been told, so...
They definitely are. Well, thank you again so much for coming on the Theme Park Hipster Show and being our first solo traveler case study. You did it, and now you're coming back again.
Oh, yeah. Have to come back.
All right. Thank you. We'll go back to the studio. All right, guys, we are back. Wasn't that such an incredible interview? We got to learn so many great takeaways, especially about the pros and cons of going to Disney alone, and some major tips to making sure that you have an incredible solo trip that will make sure that you'll want to go back again. I am so happy that Shringalah of Midwest and Disney Obsessed Instagram account was able to come over here and give us 2 episodes of what it's like to plan for the trip, which she actually did, her first trip, and what it's like to come back once she has reflected on everything. I hope that her story, along with the other stories on ThemeParkHipster.com, has finally convinced you to make that solo Disney trip. And if you want to learn more about going to Disney or any of the theme parks solo, be sure to visit ThemeParkHipster.com and just find the solo travel tab. And I have so many tips on there just for you to make that solo leap. Once again, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the Theme Park Hipster show. I never take it for granted, and I just appreciate you being a part of this solo theme park traveler community. Please remember to rate and review this podcast episode. That way others can find it, and I can continue to bring you theme park hacks tailored just for you. And I want you to know that whether you believe it or not, that you are my friend and you are my family. And until next time, happy park hopping hipsters. The content on the Theme Park Hipster show represents my own and not those of any organizations or activity mentioned. I am just someone here who likes to share my own stories to you and hope that I can help you have the best vacation ever.